Okay, so this is almost this is almost this is very similar to what we were just doing. Okay, let me bring. Okay, so let me shrink this a little bit. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw an x and a y axis here. And remember, when you see the word standard position here, okay, when you see standard position, you should always think it's either going to be one of these triangles here. Okay. Okay. That bottom left triangle, I need to fix. Okay. And I actually want to make this yellow. Okay. So these are your right angles. Okay. Whenever you see standard position, it's going to be one of those triangles that I draw. Okay. Now, it says quadrant 2. Okay. It says quadrant 2. So there you go. All right. It's going to look like that. Remember, this is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. Okay? And you're going to get, so cosine, okay, I'm literally going to copy this here. Cosine equals to -3/5. Okay? I literally just copied this right there. Okay? Now, cosine, remember, it's going to be adjacent. Okay? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, let's see if I can bring back those two blue boxes we had before. There we go. Okay. Cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. All right. So, adjacent to the green dot is going to be 3. Hypotenuse to the green dot is 5. Well, I should just say hypotenuse in general is going to be 5. Hypotenuse never changes. Okay. Now, the hypotenuse can never be negative. Okay. Simply because the hypotenuse is the length. Okay. Or let me just put it this way. Okay. Hypotenuse, remember, it's r, which is radius. A radius of a circle. Okay. If you have a circle and you have a radius can never be negative. Okay. Radius can never be negative. So I'm going to write that down actually. Hypotenuse is never negative. Okay. And I'm going to put that in red right over here. Okay? Now, remember, 3 is going to be considered, that's the hardest part, honestly. Once you understand what I wrote so far, everything else is pretty much review. 3, so the 5 is not negative, so 3 has to be the negative. Okay, so part of the challenge with this is just finding out where the negative goes. Okay, so this is x, all right, and we got to find y. All right, so I'm going to go x squared plus y squared. Everything else is the same thing we've been doing. X squared is, okay, -3. This time we know r. We're solving backwards. Okay. And we're going to solve for y now. So check this out. 9 equals to, or 9 plus y squared equals to 25. Okay, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And I get y squared equals to 16, square root both sides, and y equals to 4. Okay, so y is going to equal to 4. Okay, and remember, y is positive 4 because it's going up. Okay, because this is going up here. All right. Now, okay, everything else is the same thing we always been doing. Okay, it's the same exact thing we always been doing. So watch this. Sine, let me write that down here, is going to be 4 over 5. Cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Okay? All right. And by the way, cosine right here, they already gave you cosine. So that's like a duh. It's already given. All right. So a couple things, folks. These numbers ended up working nice, and they were really easy to work with. Okay. You know, sometimes you might get something like, let's pretend this was 19. Okay, then you're stuck with square root 19. Okay, and then you do what we did before. Okay, you're going to get, so this becomes root 19. Okay, and then sine in that case would be root 19 over 5. This would be same thing. Tangent would be root 19 over -3, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this ended up working out. It was a nice clean number. It was 4. Okay, but it's not always going to be like that. Okay, in fact, I would say most of the times it's not going to be like that. Okay, second of all, remember, you start off the same way. Okay, one of the tricks is to figure out where the negative goes. Okay, so remember, the negative can never be with the hypotenuse. Okay, it is always with either the x or the y. Okay, so with what's given to us, 5, we already established that 5, since it's r, it cannot be negative, so the negative must go with a 3. Okay, the negative must go with 3. Now, let's pretend, by the way, we're pretty much done with this problem. Let's pretend, by the way, your problem looked like this. Your triangle looked like this, I should say. Okay, your triangle was in the 4th quadrant right here. Okay, excuse me, the 3rd quadrant. Okay, then this 4, okay, since we're trying to find this y, okay, this 4 would be negative because it's going down. Okay, it's really important. The 4 would be negative, so you would keep this. Okay, yeah, you solve for positive 4, but you got to look at the diagram. Okay, if your triangle was on quadrant 3, then y would be -4. Okay, because it's pointing down. Okay, folks, that wraps up this lesson. I want you guys to do the following problems.